Welcome to a mid-July agronomy update with channel. I'm agronomist Ryan Becker. Number one question on everyone's mind here in East Central Illinois is around the corn leaf aphid. Yep, it's the third year running where we've got aphids with colonies and number of aphids per plant being able to easily be identifiable. Problematic planting dates is primarily the mid-May and later, and most of that corn has yet to tassel. As I've been walking around and scouting fields in my local geography, I've been able to consistently find aphids and corn planted in Piatt, Douglas, Coles, Champaign, Edgar counties, all corn that has yet to tassel, planted there in mid-May. As I pull the tops out and start unfurling leaves, I can find consistently aphids down in there. Now, if we go back in time, 2024, that was our first exposure to this, and we saw anywhere on some of these sensitive hybrids 20, 40, all the way up to 60 bushels loss whenever we didn't provide any treatment or we caught it too late. And that's why we've tried to be more proactive here in the last couple of years. Last year, we didn't have nearly as many issues because we were more on top of it, and we are going to try to do the same here for that mid-May corn as it comes towards the tassel time frame. As I mentioned, you can find it in about every single cornfield and every single hybrid from my experience as I've been walking different plots with different and looking at different hybrids in different fields. However, the number of aphids per plant definitely differs. On the products that I'm going to call not sensitive to aphids, and for lack of a better term as of now, I'd say I can find, two to a handful in each of those. So in other words, ones I am not worried about. Now, the products that I'm deeming sensitive right now, I'm going to say that those typically you start to see 50 upwards into the hundreds, and you could definitely see how that could become problematic because as we have learned about this cornleaf aphid, it only takes them 5 to 7 days to reproduce and do that asexually. So populations can explode pretty quick within a week's time. Now, as I've been out scouting, I have been able to find some beneficial insects, some of those ones, the natural predators that try to keep aphids in check. You've got the ladybug and the ladybug larva, the green lacewing. The only one that I've been able to find consistently is the minute pirate bug. I'll show a picture up here on the screen. That's what it looks like, but to me, not enough of the beneficials that I definitely have concern here. So that takes us to, levels of control. What have we learned over the last 2 years? And to me, my number is different than what you would see from the old research from extension and universities. What we have seen with modern hybrids with yield levels that we can achieve, I think treatment is warranted when we are talking 5 to 10% of plants are showing significant colonies of aphids as tassels are coming fully out and we are beginning that R1 process. Now, what we have treated with the last few years has been bifenthrin. It is the cheapest. We've elevated the rates. You can usually do it for, under $5-6 an acre. And we have had success here locally, at least for the channel folks that I have supported that we have used. Most growers have been satisfied with that. Now, the problem with bifenthrin is that it kills everything. It'll kill the beneficials. It relies on contact of exposed bugs. So it flushes the aphids. It kills the ones that it comes in contact with, but you're always concerned about if additional flare-ups could come back because you didn't get all of them. So you'll see from around the state or hear from others, maybe they haven't had as much success, which is why, bifenthrin is by far the most economic option, but it is not bulletproof by any means. Now, products that we have learned about here, or at least I have learned about, because I am by no means am I an expert in aphids. I've just been reading and hearing from others and trying to regurgitate everything that I hear. So these new premium, they're not necessarily new, but premium options that they use down in the south are two products are Transform, which is a Corteva product. It is about impossible to find, is what I'm gathering from my seed pros that have been trying to reach out and source it. So but that is an option to transform, but I don't think we can find any of it, so we might as well not even deal with it. And the other is a Bayer product, and it is called Savanto Prime. Now, what is interesting and exciting about these specific products is that they're a different class. They only target the insects that have piercing or sucking parts, of which the aphid is one of those. They can be systemic, xylem mobile, so they're moving throughout the plant. So hopefully they are able to control those aphids that are tucked into the world. If we are worried about, the colonization of the aphids growing significantly, we could treat now before full R1 and try to control them. And that's what if you read some literature from extension down in Texas, that's kind of what their methodology is treat immediately if you're seeing it with that class of chemistry. So the use rate for Savanto Prime is 7 ounces. The difference between these products, Savanto Prime and a bifenthrin, is that the bugs don't immediately die. So there's not that instant gratification of, if you go back out after the REI is up, you don't see dead aphids. Neurologically, it stops them from feeding very quickly, but they're not dead. It'll still take them multiple days, up to 5 days, before you'll actually see carcasses out there and they're no longer alive. But it works immediately. Now, they are incredibly expensive compared to that cheaper bifenthrin option, like about 3 to 4 times the amount. So without seeing firsthand, any data up here locally, or what I would deem a holy cow, we need to go to this top tier option as of now, I have yet to come across an aphid infested field that is as bad. Now, I do think some are trending that way, and we might get to that point by R1. But for now, we are doing local trials with this Savanto. I know of some growers that are going more for that premium option, but I'd say the vast majority are probably falling into the bifenthrin camp. So with that in mind, I do think our ideal timing is we hit it right as we're transitioning, the VT, the vegetative tassel, and beginning R1. So all the leaves are open. We can get good contact, flush those, as well as apply our fungicide at the same time. I think that is our best bet for control here in 2026. But we're going to learn more about these products like Savanto Prime, and see if in the future some of these products that are more sensitive to aphid pressure, whether or not it is for sure warranted that we need to spend extra and plan accordingly with those products. So with that, I will wrap up, and be sure to reach out to your channel Seed Pros. I know we're all trying to get our minds wrapped around of which ones are the most sensitive, so be sure to be reaching out to them, reach out to myself, and let's keep scouting and monitoring as this mid-May crop transitions to the R1 stage, and make the best decision in order to make sure we have the most satisfactory results by the end of the year. Thanks.